like that's normal. That ain't gonna work.
Let me share that.
Thanks. My name is Professor X the Overseer, and what you're about to witness is the Messenger Group X Clan. Here's the nine. Black Watch. And when we are not outraged about the oppression upon the black existence, we step to you in blackness. By the way, exist in a state of vainglorious as we are protected by the red, the black, and the green. Heed the words of the brother.
Sissy.
Let us the word the phrase to
Yeah.
as this day begins class. The science of past is now brought to the prime face on the scroll. State
More.
God the gods of gods to man. Any kings, any leaders, a fist from my hand. They call me militant. Now what does this mean? Do I carry a gun?
Harriet.
But the flag never pause. That's simply the brother. Raise the flag, wave the colors. That flag
Glad.
is the key, the difference.
Marvin.
In the world,
Okay.
that died to live with degrees. A man getting stronger till these man no longer. Unearthly truth makes the time so strong. Forever radiant awareness, one for the one.
Hard morning.
Right. Okay.
Now I'm it.
Hey.
As I start to what from the Texas? When the so Armageddon is no
The hell is
the earth. One must be a question to learn a basic quite majestic, stir with the reality. A juggernaut when you tamper with mentality. However, crown, extension at the midst of a brain cell, bringing health forever. Where we only trying to obtain, no attempt to achieve. The figure of kings and queens act like justice, never potential. Quarter of what are we? Become hidden, see, for their thievery. All right, cool. But don't need the politics, that's a proof. I get my work like to produce the words that they hear about. It's another way of shooting out these cities. When they try to extinct my principality. But of course not. From beginning, I'm the end. Observe me. Ignorance is not a trend. So as a second, for a few seconds, pull the reins. Mastering third on the verse is a foresight shirt, Egyptian, African. Now I'm on a black watch. Check my sundial. As the moon reflects the sun, created eyes make a path for the one. So now walk softly, carry a big stick, a burnt stick, so you make it know. Raise the fire spreads jam to the black bread, and the first of this one bang warriors, unearthly resistance, strong with persistence, ran verbalized. Tribal connection, pyramids, it's the front bearer, vibe sharer, not the error. Brother is balanced like the scales of thought. I need a mind the man makes stone. All systems, positive, no shape. Some call it art. Black is a color while blackness state of a mind state. But how many Brother Jay can find a better way? So curious. Plan it down and make it serve a purpose. Yet I'm not the G.I. Joe, I am the brother. You I can never step to the mic and stage area. As I got the science that breaks the calm barrier. Words of home make me more than a beginner. The tree open knowledge in place. And the Africana man, Africana brother. Don't forget the land, cause the birth is from the brother. A vibe is obtained in the slumber. In your audio and
Fuck off. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Man, I was so blind to the message back in the day.
Man. Hey, peace to the family, man. Welcome back to Sankofa 180 degrees. We back at y'all once again, family. How's everybody doing, man? Family, we just gotta, I just want to reminder that every first Sunday of every month, man, we do the children's book read. This is to spread our Black African history. Okay, that's what it's for. It's to spread our Black African history to our children, just so it don't get lost. okay? And it don't get misconstrued, right? Because once again, family, we are at war with our history. Okay, you got Trump wanting to take stuff out of the Smithsonian's institutes. You got the school, the education department is banning books. They're not allowing the schools to teach Black African history. So there's a war going on with our history, family, and we cannot afford to lose. We cannot afford to lose this battle, family. We have to spread our African history. We have to, or it's going to be lost. They're rewriting it as we speak. They said that slavery benefited slaves and it gave them skills. Family, I'm saying it's time to wake up and come on in and let's get some Black African history. Ask yourself why they going through these limps and all spending all this money to take away our African history. Why are they doing this? It's very, very, very important that you don't let it go. Don't let them do this, man. Hey, Sankofa 180 degrees. Hey, we pushing Black African history to the babies. We giving out free Black African books, children's books, that's talking about a lot of our patriarchs and matriarchs, a lot of our, accredited people, kings and queens, multi geniuses, uh, great pharaohs, like great dynasties. We, we had a really, really rich history before slavery, family, and you need to know about it. You have to know about it. Because when you know about it, then nobody can trick you no more. You can't be tricked no more. They won't be able to trick you no more, man. So listen, come on in, Sankofa 80 degrees. First Sunday every month, we're doing something for the kids specifically. We also do every Sunday. I'm sorry. Every Friday, we do open mic, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come and check us out. Open mic. Talk about whatever you want. Okay? Debate, dialogue, discussion, or whatever you want to do. Okay? Then every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do presentations, things like what we're doing today. Okay? And so you're welcome to join us here anytime. Okay? Bring the babies. This is for the kids too. Nothing they can't hear. Okay? So listen, man, come on in, bring the babies, listen to Black African history, uh, and we're gonna show you what this is. What we're gonna keep it live. We're gonna keep it live, and we're gonna keep it real. And you always want to do your own research. Hey, so listen, man. Yeah. And yeah. So peace to the family. What's going on, panel? Hey, peace to the Queen Carrie. How you doing, Queen?
Hi, welcome to Sankofa 180 degrees. This is where you'll learn the truth with facts to back it up. And it's really important to know these facts about the Black history. It's pretty amazing, and I love being here. So thank you, guys.
Sweet. Peace to you, E. Go ahead, King.
Peace to the panel. It's always glad to be here. I'm driving, but I'm present. Peace to Queen, Karen. Peace to Funk. Peace to James, Gerald. Peace to all the whole panel. Peace and love to everybody. Let's get it on.
Don't salute you, E.
For sure. And then to my brother, Gerald. Peace to you, King.
Well, no, peace to the family.
I'm in Ra Patah. Yeah.
What up, Karen? What up, E? What up, Johnny? Appreciate it. Everybody being here again. living without information, living without culture. This is our church. When people talk about going to church, then why go to church? Every Sunday, religiously, coming up right here to meet with my people and learn some more about who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm unapologetically black, so I want to live with my information, my culture, my history, my spirituality. Sitting there smoking on some Charlie. Charlie Kirk, racist motherfucker, man. Got took off the planet this
Fuck
week.
Kirko.
Yeah, and everything came out about, him and his conservative views with a lot of hate about me and my people. So as I said, I'm unapologetically black, and when you bring the smoke, I'm gonna return the smoke, whether you dead or alive. So, I know a lot of people hurt and mad because people kissing on his grave, but fuck Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? He didn't give a damn about me and my people, and I don't give a damn about him. And for anybody else, when it happened, I'ma smoke your ass too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so don't take it personal. It's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? You disrespect my people. You disrespect George Floyd like Charlie Kirk did. George Floyd disrespected Martin Luther King. George Floyd was disrespecting all black women. Fuck Charlie. Smoke one. That's what we do. Already. Black power, black love.
I'm in Rob Patai on it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So,
Peace to you, King. Hey, and then to my brothers, last but not least, to the star of the show,
Yeah, man. You know, we
my
know
brother
how we
Unc.
do, man. Hey, man, I'm fortunate and a privilege, man, to be able to do this, man. Fuck Kirko all day, right? Yeah, it ain't no misprint when you read it. uh, so, hey, I'm gonna jump right to it. We're gonna watch a video with James Smalls, and the part I like about it, I like the whole thing, but the reason why I'm showing it is because of the I just got to keep reminding myself and uh and practice remembering, and the way that I do it is repetition. I had a little brain injury, affected some years ago and stuff, so it ain't repaired all the way. So that's just one way, and even if I didn't have that effect, and it's all about researching and hearing it again, seeing it again, showing it over and over, because they're trying to erase our history. So we're gonna get to that.
Really?
We'll get to James Smalls in just a minute. Can you hear that? Nope. You can't hear it? Oh, no, hold up.
In the 1600s,
Yeah, we can hear that.
this is Unwritten Truths, a 500-year breakdown of how white supremacy poisoned the world. In the 1500s, they arrived with Bibles and swords, preaching salvation while stealing souls. In the 1600s, they rewrote maps and labeled the world theirs. Everything sacred was renamed. Everything stolen was legal. In the 1700s, they mass-produced slavery, turning people into property with God's approval. In the 1800s, they industrialized empires, burning land and bones to fuel profit. In the 1900s, they sold cigarettes as medicine, sprayed food with chemicals, and told us that fake was better. By 2000, they owned the air, the seeds, the truth itself. They replaced nutrients with logos. Now in 2025, they sell water, emotions, and even identity, and call it freedom. This isn't progress. It's 500 years of psychological warfare, and most of us are still enslaved. We just call it lifestyle now.
This is unwritten truths, the war on melanin. They didn't just create race, they invented color to divide and conquer. When they reached Africa, they discovered the truth. Melanin isn't just skin, it's genetic power, power that could change them, and that terrified them. So they built a system to eliminate it. They saw Africa has everything: gold, oil, water, land. So they keep it poor while they take it all. Africa is the only continent that crosses both hemispheres. It's the center of the earth and the origin of humanity. That's why billionaires run experiments there. Why African DNA is under attack. Why melanated people are targets worldwide. Because they know if melanin rises, the system dies.
They're not free. They're paid to stay silent. The richer they get, the less they say that actually matters. Why? Because their contracts are cages wrapped in NDAS, PR teams, and silence clauses. One wrong word, and it's all gone. The endorsements, the access, the image. Speak truth, you're blackballed. Uplift your people, you're dangerous. Most aren't role models. They're distractions, approved by the very system that profits from our pain. You call it fame. They call it control. We stay dropping these knowledge bombs. This is Unwritten Truths. Stay tuned.
They want me to talk about this boy.
Now in a state of a great deception. We are now in a state of a great deception, where facts are not facts and reality is perception. And everything you read on your feed is feed. The politicians cross party lines to keep us deceived. You see, historically, Black people have been traditional, but white Democrats say Blacks have to be liberal. So we adopt the co-op, trying to avoid a fall. But if you handpicked our choice, that's not a choice at all. And what about Republicans? They just want to divide us. Yes, they're racist too, but they don't pretend to like us. So we don't pretend to be friends and fester by their feet. The only thing worse than a wolf is one dressed like a sheep. So you can be a sheep and go sleep with the shepherd. But regardless of what you hide, they both support genocide. They both support assigned bills that kill Black and brown children. Replace gravestones with luxury homes and buildings. It's gross how they netting in Benjamin. Search Yahoo for the brazen fundraising to push imperialism. They use a war machine that's worth trillions to colonize civilians and spread materialism. Remember 2020, when we was in isolation, nobody could go to work, so the government had to pay us. Then they used our own trauma to play and manipulate us up until election day just to sway us in their favor. Basically made crime legal. And it's not the rich that suffer, it's only the disenfranchised people. To drive down the property value, ignite fear, buy it for cheap, then make a huge profit in 5 years. But there's a threat, Project 2025. We've been in the projects and still managed to survive. Yeah, we've been marginalized and denied our rights too. So the things they scared of, we lived our whole lives through. They use Black people like political ping pongs and parade out paid celebrities just to sing songs. It seems wrong, but the fear is intact because the puppet strings are green and there's a pact with the bureaucrats. They all follow that dogma to make karma. They all have karma in big pharma. They all fall in line with their donors and lobbyists just to render private agendas so it's not so obvious. This is the modern day Roman Empire, controlling most of the map, but it still has to collapse. Lands of the pill poppers, junkies, and meth heads. I think it's safe to say America's on her deathbed.
Locksmith got a raw for you on regular rotation.
Oh, fine.
That's because Black people, y'all cry too much.
Anybody want to say anything before I play James Smalls?
No, that was hot though. That was
Yeah,
hot,
that was
man.
I like that.
Yeah. You know, I like when he, especially the part when he's talking about you got the choices that you choosing from
A
is chosen
handpick.
is chosen for you.
Yeah, they handpicked for you.
You know what I mean? So that's just that's slick.
Yeah, so we got the X-Clan. Got it. We got them dropping that history. And then Locksmith got it for you on a regular rotation for sure. So we're gonna listen to James Smalls, man. He's talking about them natural rules, man. He's gonna get into that a little later, but he got a message for you. A lot of it we know, man, but just with what's going on and stuff.
Same body knowledge.
All this shit that's going on and it don't seem to stop, man. Might as well throw a little realism up in it. That's that bullshit going on is reality too, but
yeah, it's just not our fight.
Say that again.
It's just not our fight. You know, that ain't our problem.
Right. So you won't be able to see the pictures as clear, maybe. I don't know how you guys can see it on your view and stuff, but you're gonna go through some real good pictures, man. And let's just get some of James Baba Smalls, man.
2 days now. And this is my third trip.
Make sure you stop me anytime you want me to stop it.
I was trying to figure what's the message, you know, and how am I going to deliver this message? And I'm still not sure. But I have a lot of slides. And I'm going to try to walk you through them in an hour and a half. Hope it doesn't go to 2, but it's going to get close to that. But what I'm going to talk to you about is you and time. I want to look at a lot of history because if anybody heard the radio show yesterday, I kept going to the subject of history. And you need to kill these forward lights, whoever's the light person, so that they can see the screen. Don't worry about me. Yeah. History. The two, what do you call them? That points, the two that points at the screen. You have 4 lights shining on the screen, whatever they call.
He got it set up just a little bit, but I just didn't want to go by it yet. So
strobe, spotlights. But history is the mystery right now. Because we don't know our history, so we can't even decide who to elect to political office, and that's really sad. No disrespect. But if you don't elect the right people, you won't get the solutions to your problems. And yes, your brothers and sisters can make mistakes and you can call them corrupt and think we need to get rid of them. But you can't put your enemy in the place of family who's just not doing right. Okay? So you need to understand history because history will tell you who's your friend, who's your enemy. There's nothing but personal anger and that foolishness that people get confused with when you start talking about history and the harm done to Africa. This is not a personal dialogue. It's personal, but it's not personal. It's actually almost just race business. Race business. And everybody in this room, in 100 years, we're going to all be dead. So our business should be about those babies in the audience. Should be about the ones that's not here yet. Our business is to make a future of those to come. Now I'm going to walk through the history with you. And then, that's still too much light on the screen now. And then I'm going to talk to you about spirituality. But spirituality is a very short conversation. And it's not the spookism most people think it is. It's not the mystery thing you think it is. Spirituality is your comprehension of, your consciousness of, and your involvement in your reality. And if you separate your spirituality from your reality, you are lost. I don't care how much religion you got. You can pray till the cows come home. Ain't nothing gonna change. And don't we all know that? We've been praying the cows come home, the goats come home, the sheep come home, and still nothing is changing. No disrespect again to the tender heart. I'm not talking about disrespecting God. God is. I don't know God's name. I don't know what God looked like or nothing like that. But the one thing I do know, God is. And we got about 1,000 religions in the world. They can't all be right. And maybe none of them are really wrong. Because maybe religion is just how you try to approach knowing God. And many people have different approaches. So they may not necessarily any of them be wrong. That's right. And you see me over there when I had the hair back in the day? That was a long time ago. So we're going to talk about spirituality, but at the end of the day, we'll talk about spirituality. History is a great and significant part of spirituality. Because if you don't know history and you don't know your story, how do you know?
Got Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Clark, Dr. Joseph Ben Yakinen. And which one is this one? That's not Asa Hilliard. So who is this one with next to Dr. Leonard Jeffries in between?
That's not like Omi.
Okay.
His name is S-C-O-M-I-E, Dr. Omi.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
What does Somi do?
S-C-O-M-I. He was a historian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bet.
Know what history gives you. History gives you your pedigree. And if you don't know your pedigree, how can you recreate yourself in your children? And it's a reason why people don't want the history of Bermuda taught in schools. I learned yesterday that the curricula is there. It's just not teaching it. The question has to be why. If it's nothing like they said, let us have nothing then. And let's see what the nothing will do for us. But knowing your history is the most significant thing in the world. I was talking to Sister Sherry yesterday, and I goes like, everybody's got a holiday. They have a whole list of holidays they put in the American Express calendar every year, and it's called International Holidays. Look at it and see how many we have. We don't have none. Not one. Everybody in the world have holidays. We are over 1 billion people, and we have none. We have the biggest continent in the world. You can fit China, Europe, North America, Japan, and a few other nations in the continent of Africa. 54 nations, oldest civilization on earth, gave the world all of its sciences that we know today. And we don't have one day where we unite in a common view of ourselves. I wonder how many holidays y'all have in Bermuda that is about Black people in a Black country. And don't fool yourself, this is a Black country. Stop pretending. This is a Black country. And everybody else should be pleased that you share it with them, given the historical relationship we've had with them. I'm not going to bite my tongue. They throw me out, I'll come back. You don't want me to come back. Because I'm not the nicest, I'm not just a professor. So, history. I'm going to see if this little machine that Io gave me worked. Oh, the cameraman. Your light is cool. I mean, besides you, we don't get a video. I mean, are you cool? Turn on all the lights you need. I was only concerned with those two strobes, and they shouldn't interfere with you. Now, if you need more light, do more light, because a part of this is to get the tape that would be of value when we're gone away from here. So whatever makes that cameraman cool, that's what we're gonna do. Let me see. Now, how does this thing go? Where do I? Okay, it's the item. That's the wrong way. Oh, that's the right way. But I don't want. Okay, there's a little something I gotta do. I'm not the biggest technologist in the world.
Father.
So what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through Africa really, really quick so you can see who you really are. And so at the end of the day, you can understand that history is the most significant weapon you got. And if you don't infuse yourself and infuse your children, you're just creating a victims for those who want to exploit you because you don't have a mind that locates you somewhere in human geography where you're secure. And that's what history does for you. Of course, that's me. And I always stop with this African. By African people, we mean the original humans on the planet Earth. The parent people. Africa is the first and only human creation to evolve from what we call God, the divine, or beings having a human experience. Africans, properly said, is God having a human experience. All other human groups are but mutations off of the African gene pool. And I hope that don't scare y'all, because I know y'all scared to be God. But let me break that down real quick for you. If nothing exists but God, right? Only God. If God exists, there's no room for nothing else to exist, is there? That's simple logic, right? God exists. So anything else that we perceive to exist have to be an aspect of that divine existence. Am I right? Don't be saying that because y'all want to make me happy because I'm a visitor. I want you to really get it. So you can understand why people are beating you down and fighting against you everywhere you go, no matter how good or how sweet you are. If that's the case, that nothing exists but God, and all other existence is an expression of an aspect of the divine essence, and you, the Black woman especially, is the first of God's creation, and everybody else on the planet emanates from your womb, then are you not God having a human experience called you? If you really get that, Jesus will make sense. And it won't just be an emotional trip on Sundays. Let Jesus make sense. Understand what it really is. Then you can understand the story and the metaphor and the allegory, how God will send itself to the earth as a human being, as you. Now, the Europeans confused it and thought we were talking about one person. It is every person. I know y'all got to pray tomorrow to make sure that boy doesn't say some evil stuff. No. But I put this one up so you can see all of the variety of us that come out of that continent. This is Ghana, my favorite home. I actually own a hotel there, a nice little 30-room villa in Cape Coast. That's my main thing where I spend most of my time. And this is the Ghana royal community. Under each one of those umbrellas is a chief or a queen mother. And this is one of their cultural processions. And you see the king up here. And when you see the Ghana kings, they wear so much gold. They actually have a person whose job is just to hold their arms up. Yeah. Because the gold is too heavy. So there's someone holding this arm, someone holding this arm. And the gold is real. But it doesn't belong to them. It belongs to all of the people. When you become a king or a queen in Africa, you're not like Elizabeth, the robber baron, whose wealth all came from killing Africans and robbing Africans and Asians. Is that y'all's royalty? There's nothing royal about that royalty because they didn't get their money right. And so they don't deserve the titles they wear. These people deserve the titles they wear because the people give them the titles and they own nothing. The kings and queens in Africa own nothing. Okay? Everything they need, the people provide, but they own personally nothing. And so when you think about royalty in Africa, the royalty see themselves simply as a servant to the people, not as an oligarch over the people. And that's a different notion. This is Ethiopia. They're celebrating the Spring Festival. I just wanted to show you the variety of our beautiful people. This is Mali. in front of the Jenin Mosque, which is one of the oldest mosques in the world. And it was there long before Christopher Columbus. This is the Dogon people of Mali that has one of the oldest astronomical sciences in the world outside of ancient Egypt. And they were doing things with stars like Sirius A, Sirius B, that the Western world couldn't see until they got telescopes in the 1950s. And I just wanted to show we all look alike. There we are, looking like you and your children. And this is what they call the jungle, the rainforest. Do you know that North America have more jungle than Africa? Except they call it Everglades and swamps. All right. But this rainforest in Africa is some of the most beautiful places. But this is what most of Africa looks like. You know, again, the rainforest. But Africa, most of it is plains, like savannas. And we do have modern cities all over Africa. This is Ghana. I think this is Egypt. This is Lagos. This, I think, is, let me get it right. It's not Tanzania. And this may be Congo. Yoruba history, this is one of my professors that laid this out. Yoruba history of a group of human beings which make them to feel belonging to one another and distinct from any other group around them. The problem you have here, the problem we have in North America, we don't have a culture. We don't feel like we belong to one another. And we don't feel like we are distinct from all the other groups around us. We want to be everybody the same. Well, you define God, because God did not make everybody the same. And if you're just a scientist and say nature, then you define nature. Nature didn't make everybody the same. So how you gonna make everybody the same? That's unrealistic. It doesn't work. That's why we have the problem. You need to know your distinctions and organize around those distinctions so you can protect yourselves. And we're not doing it very well. And he went further to say that culture is not static, it is dynamic. Certain items that are no longer useful at a particular period, a particular time in culture can be discarded and thrown away, and usually discarded in favor of a new item, you know, that fits the circumstances. Like somebody asked me yesterday what my religion was, and I said voodoo. And they said what some of you just said, You know, the word voodoo is an African word that means God. It comes from the Fan language and the Ewe language. The Fan language is the people of Benin. The Ewe language is the people of Togo and Volta region, Ghana. One of their words for God, their word for God in its totality is Sogbe Lisa, which says that God is the totality of creation. Every single African language have a word for God, and everyone mean God is every and all things at once, including you. But the word for God being in something is in those two languages, where voodoo, the word voodoo comes from, voodoo gazi. You're saying the nature of God in me. Voodoo daha, the nature of God in nature, the ecology. White people didn't understand what our word was, so they used it to describe everything Black. And then they began to assign their witchcraft behavior to our sacred science. If voodoo could do all the evil, mean things, you think anybody would have been able to enslave us? You think they would be able to hold us in slavery if we had such a weapon? Voodoo is simply our ancient sacred understanding of nature and cosmology, how we relate to it and how it relates to us. And those things like in Haiti, where we just lost one of our great, great leaders, he was the Atta, the head of all voodoo shrines in Haiti. His name was Max Beauvoir. He was a biochemist, but yet he was the chief voodoo priest in Haiti. An accomplished man and dedicated to his people to try to teach our system, that system that we use to lead the only successful slave revolt in the history of the world, the Haitian Revolution. When we organized around voodoo, nobody could stop us. When we returned back to Christianity, Haiti has not been able to get up off her knees since. So you need to understand what voodoo is. Voodoo is how I know how to love you and how you know how to love me. And if I love you, I will let nothing hurt you. And if you love me, you will let nothing hurt me. That means we will protect one another. When I'm looking at you, I'm watching your back. When you're looking at me, you're watching my back. If we understood voodoo truly, it's one of the most beautiful systems of knowing God there is. And that's why they don't want you to ever know it. Now, I'm a priest, not in the voodoo tradition, even though I've trained in the voodoo tradition. I'm a priest in the Yoruba tradition. There I'm Obenjoko Adebayo. And in that tradition, I'm a priest of Oya. Now, you know, Oya is supposed to be the wind, but that's a metaphor, you know. And Oya is a beautiful lady with long locks. So every time I see a beautiful lady with long locks, I think I met the goddess, you know. So Oya is also someone that could transform herself. But in the metaphor in the Yoruba, so Oya is one of those things that's called an Orisha. So in the metaphor of Oya, she is said to have married the king Shango. And I know many of you have heard the name Shango. She married Shango, but what does that mean? Shango means the courage that any human being experience within themselves to change for a higher spiritual self. That courage that tells you, I want to change and be a better person, that's what's called Shango. And when you realize that within yourself, that I need to change myself, I need to grow ethically, morally higher and spiritually stronger, you can't go to the next step unless you marry metaphorically and psychologically Oya. Oya is change in process that happens in the human consciousness. And then Oya, that Orisha, must marry Ogun. If it's, oh, Ogun is the god of war, the god of iron, that's a metaphor. There's no god of war, god of iron. That's a reference to, if you took, to get iron, you got to take a piece of rock. And what do you do with the rock? You put it to fire. And what does the fire do? Burn out the impurities. So since you've consciously realized, I want to change to be a better self, a more spiritual self, you marry the notion of change within your own consciousness, which is called Oya. And now Oya must practice metaphorically, what they call polyandry, and marry another man called Ogun, which is transformation as the result of change. Now you all understand that? One of the Orisha Shango is I need to change myself. That Orisha marries Oya, I'm changing. And that Orisha marries Ogun, I'm transformed by the change. Do you understand that? So if you were to get into your own tradition, study it for yourself, you will realize somebody's been bamboozling you all along. And that there is a system of knowing you and knowing God that our ancestors had before we met these other people. Furthermore, we created Christianity, which I'll show you in a minute, and they took it away from us and turned it into something ugly and went around slaughtering whole peoples and taking their wealth and their land, then transforming it into an organization called the church.
Gerald?
Yeah, right then, he was talking about a spiritual process that is called alchemy.
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 Right.
Yeah. And when they're dealing with alchemy, they're using these terms when they're dealing with mental processes that you're going through as far as the transformation. And really they say you're turning metals into gold.
Mm.
And the people who don't understand is looking for physical gold, but the gold is within. And then you gotta be working this, working these, going through these processes that they talking about when you talking about marrying this and doing that. It's the same thing told in the authority and resurrection. It's a whole process that you go through. You know? So, you know, he didn't say anything about alchemy. The alchemical process is a consciousness process that we go through.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's like coming into your own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll get into it a little more maybe next Friday or something, but, I hadn't heard nobody deal with voodoo on that level and dealing with it as far as, the alchemical process that it is, dealing with transformation.
Yeah, woke you up a little bit, huh?
Oh yeah, I remember that one more. Yes, I like that.
Right, right. E, you want to say anything? Jamie, you want to say anything more?
No, yeah, I was just meaning like a rite of passage type thing.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty powerful too.
So go ahead.
Yeah. And then I just want to give out a shout out to recognition to Pan-African Daily TV, and then Professor James Small's public lecture, Understanding Your African Culture, Spirituality, and History. And we thank you for this provision.
Really?
And hand it back to you and say, now use it. And it hasn't been working because everywhere we sit as Black people in the world, somebody else is oppressing us.
Still on here?
So maybe there's nothing wrong with Jesus. Maybe there's something wrong with how we are approaching the understanding and the knowledge of Christ. But I'm not a preacher, so I ain't even going there. I'm gonna go back to my slide thing. Here we go. And then I'm gonna stop moving very quickly. When we get to the pictures of Egypt, I just want you to see the Africanness of it all. So we'll move pretty fast. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of historical stuff with them. This brother wrote an extraordinary book which everybody should read. It's not just apropos for African Americans, it's true for Africans all over the world. He wrote it in 1933. It's called The Miseducation of the Negro. He said, if a race has no history, if it has no worthwhile tradition, it becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated. And let me tell you what I mean by that, Bermuda, before I go, because I'm messing with y'all a little bit today, because I'm glad y'all came. I am so happy some of y'all came out. You do not want to wake up when you're 80 or 90s and found out instead of being 60% of this island, you're only 20, and your children go and never come back because there's nothing worth coming back to, would you? Y'all understand me? I'm trying to hit you in your belly a little bit here. Boy, I hope the politicians don't get mad with me and throw me off the island tomorrow. But y'all understand what I'm saying? Seriously.
No.
Because it has happened to other groups. It has happened to other people. You have one of the most beautiful nations in the world. You have one of the most beautiful ecology. You people that live here have a spiritual warmth I don't feel no place else on earth. Don't let nobody take it from you. Don't let it take it from your children, your grandchildren, your great children. Leave them this island intact as their legacy. Okay. So we'll move forward. That's the irritated genie over there. He likes to take pictures. That's my younger brother. Again, Dr. Woodson say, when we control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his action. He will find his proper place and will stay in it. You do not need to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. In fact, if there is no back door, he will protest until one is made for his use. His education demands it. Now, Dr. Woodson said that in 1933, and it's still true today. And this is our master, Dr. Clark. John, they still love you, brother. He said, how can a people so potentially powerful have so little power? If we are the rightful owners of a piece of real estate called Africa, 12 million square miles, full of the richest minerals ever created, why then are we so poor? How dare we call ourselves an independent people when the only way to be independent is to manage all the wealth-producing resources the country you own possesses? How can we own so much and manage so little? Who's managing our wealth? And you need to ask that question right here in Bermuda. John went further and he said, history is a clock that people use to tell their time of day. It is a compass they use to find themselves on the map of human geography. It tells them where they are and what they are. So y'all better get serious about making sure your children is taught history in this curriculum. I don't know what the education minister was talking about the other day, but don't make no sense to me. And I don't think it made much sense to you. So you need to get on it. Because this is our great master teacher, Dr. Ben.
Dr. Ben, I say.
I always honor him and his books, you know, Africa, Mother, Western Civilization, Black Man of the Nile and His Family, African Origins of Major Western Religions. All of those are must read. You should put it in the library in your home. You know, he made his transition a few months ago. He was 96, but he's a most extraordinary spirit. And so Christians, and I know all of us in here, Christians, who like to say, well, why do we need to deal with this Black history thing? Well, the Bible says, only be careful and watch yourself closely so that you do not forget the things your eyes see or your eyes have seen, or let them fade from your hearts as long as you live. Teach them to your children and to their children after them. They're talking about your historical experience on earth, your history. So the Bible supports me. It does not support the foolish people that says teaching our history is something foolish. So when we talk about genes, we talk about the DNA of God, the divine. Ancestors are your pedigree. You learn your pedigree from your history. God is your original ancestor. If people define themselves by referring to their origin, we are the best of our ancestors' genes. We are the latest version of our ancestors. We are the highest tech version of our ancestors. Our children are the best of our genes, the latest version, and the highest tech model. Let me make that a little simpler. Everybody in this room is made up of the substance of their mother and their father, right? By that egg and that sperm. And they were made up of the substance of your 4 grandparents. And they were made up of the substance of your 8 great parents and your 16 great great and your 32 great great great. And guess what? All of that culminates in you. Every bit of those DNA is lodged in you. Do you understand that? That means all of that experience, all of that memory, going back billions of years to God itself, is lodged in you. The very essence of God's consciousness is in every one of you. But if you had African religion, it would teach you that. It wouldn't tell you God's up there and you down here. It would let you know even what the Bible says, God is in you. And I understand how we can all own one and don't read the darn thing. We listen to a preacher doing his favorite lines, and because he's such a good performer and dancer and singer, we get bamboozled not to read the rest of the book. It's like one of my favorite, my grandma was named Miss Susan Small. Now, I come from South Carolina, one of those little rice plantations up in the boondocks in the woods. And Mama was a root woman. Y'all know what a root woman, y'all come Obia woman, Juju woman. Mama was a root woman. She delivered over 400 babies in her life, because the root woman was also the midwife. But she was named Susan Small. But when she was about 90, she lived to be 101. But at 90, she told me, says, baby, that's not my real name. I said, what do you mean, Mama? That's not, we call you all your life. We call her Miss Pigeon, her nickname. But Susan was we thought the legal name. She said, no, I born Mary Magdalena Alston. But she said, I changed it when my sister died, and I chose her name because Mary Magdalena was a whore and a harlot. I go, whoa. So I started reading the Bible. I went from cover to cover twice because I didn't want my grandmother to be hurting. There's nothing in any Bible that calls Mary Magdalena a whore or a harlot. So why do the preachers teach that? Maybe Jesus had a wife and they didn't want you to know. since they decided they weren't going to have no more wives as priests. They were going to just be men without wives. So he took the one lady who was a part of the 12 disciples, the lady who anoints Jesus with oil, washes his feet. And I tell any brother in here, if you caught me anointing your wife with some oil and washing her feet, what would you do? Huh? That's a sign of very high affection. And yet they reduced the woman to a whore and a harlot. And there's nothing in the Bible that has any reference to her as a whore or a harlot. So you need to ask why the theologians is teaching one thing and claiming it's in the Bible, and then it's not. Because those things form how you see reality, like it did for my grandma, to the point that she changed her name. And then I was able to go back to her and show her, because she didn't read or write, that it's not in that Bible. Somebody made that up. So just a food for thought. I'm not saying he was married. I'm not saying when the wedding feast takes place in the Bible, the wedding had to wait because Jesus wasn't there. Because you can't have a wedding without a groom.
Oh, you're not saying
And I'm
none
not
of that
saying
shit is
that's
real,
what
God damn it.
or any tradition.
Mm-mm.
But Mary, Jesus's mother, his brother James,
We know he
and
knows it's
his
not
sister
real.
Sarah was serving the wedding party. According to Hebrew tradition, the groom's family serves the wedding party. And when Jesus got there, in the metaphor, it says they ran out of wine, so Jesus turned the water to wine. But in the Hebrew tradition, only the groom could bring the wine to the wedding. So who was getting married? You need to ask the question, read the story again, and ask yourself, whose wedding is this? You know? And let me give you one more, and then I'm going to go and leave that alone until you ask me questions, but I'm planting it in your mind. You remember when Jesus gets captured on Good Friday, and they beating the poor brother up? Who did they let out of jail? Barabbas. What is the word bar in Hebrew? Son of. And the word Rabbas? Lord. The son of the Lord was let out of jail, people, when the Lord was put in jail, because Mary says, look, I don't care what you do. You get my boy out of jail. So you figure that shit out for yourself. So you're supposed to be such a bad prophet and everything. You go figure that out. And the Christ did. Had Judas turn him in. And he got his son free. If you read any the books, Josephus' history of that time, he's the only one writing history of that time. And you can buy Josephus in most of the big bookstores. And even in the Bible, Barabbas was charged with trying to overthrow the government. Okay. And he was considered to be a zealot, a revolutionary of that day. Jesus was charged, according to the Bible, with sedition, with attempting to overthrow the government, not with being God. Not with saying he was the Son of God. He was charged with sedition. So it's important to read your document. And the Bible is an extraordinary document. But if you don't know it, you can hold it in your hand and still be in darkness. If you use it right, it'll walk you right into the light and free you. And you don't have to leave your church to do it. I'm not telling nobody to leave your church. No, I'm saying transform your church. So it's what it's supposed to be. But you can't do that if you don't study the history. Okay. And then I think the last little piece I'm going to give you. Then I'm going to move on. And I know some of y'all might be fuming, but don't fume. Just listen. Jesus is on the cross, right? Where's my brother? There's a Hebrew brother in here I met yesterday. What's the name, brother? The Levite. Today is Shabbat. So I can say Shabbat Shalom. Peace on the Sabbath. Friday, Shabbat begins at sundown. In the Bible, Jesus don't get to the cross until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, you can't kill nobody on the Sabbath. So he got to be off the cross and buried, because you can't do a funeral on the Sabbath. He got to be off the cross and buried before sundown. Now, in order to die from asphyxiation caused by crucifixion, it takes about 3 days. That's why they did it, because it was a suffering thing. So they take him down within 2 hours of putting him up there. So people say, well, Small, we got you there. because they stuck him in the side with the spear because they know they had to take him down and he couldn't die from asphyxiation. So they hit him in the side with that spear and he bled to death. And that's I beg to differ. Because Christ said, I thirst. Right? And then somebody gave him vinegar and gall. Well, gall in Hebrew is pure poppy juice. You know what poppy juice is? Oh, right. A lot of it grow over there. And vinegar was fermented apple juice. What happened to Christ when he drank that portion? His metabolism slowed down and he couldn't possibly bleed to death because the heart was not pumping because the brain wasn't calling for any doggone blood. And so he was taken to a grave real close by because they know the sisters had to get in and do their little magic as healers, Mary and the other Marys. So Joseph, his friend, said, look, my tomb is right down the road. Let's get him there. And the sisters took care of business. And the next morning, they went and told the brothers, oh, Lord, he's risen. He's gone. But remember, for you who think I'm being blasphemous, when he comes, according to the Bible, to Thomas and the others and meet them, and Thomas doubts this is his brother, what did he tell him? He didn't say, I'm a spirit, experience me. He says, stick your finger through the hole in my hand. I'm still human, just like you. Done with that now. So y'all got enough to digest with the Lord. So you can now study your book and you will see somebody been playing you. There's a way to understand Christ in a way that the Christ spirit could transform you and help you transform your family and your environment. But if you just hanging around having faith and believing in an illusion that someone else has created with his words that has nothing to do with even the document, then you're in the same trouble we find ourselves in today.
I'm Dr. Small.
That's our magnificent Nile Valley. Now, I need a timer. I need somebody to tell me when I got 15 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 5 minutes. Whoever got that responsibility. Because I have a lot of slides. This is one of the longest rivers in the world, and it is in Africa. This is the Great Nile River, where one of our greatest civilization and one of the greatest civilization on earth took place. That's the pyramid, one of them right there, and that's our beautiful Nile. This is Kilimanjaro. We never think of Africa as snow-capped mountains. But yet, do you know they have two skiing lodges up on this mountain? And Africans go skiing every single day. Did you know that? They don't say that on TV, do they? You can go camping down in the valley with no shirt on, and then an hour later be skiing up in the mountains where you need a lot of shirts on. But that mountain, the ice from that mountain melts and goes to form what is called the Nile. This is Lake Nyanza, which they call Lake Victoria. This is another one of the major sources of the River Nile. This beautiful mountain, the first one is in Kenya, Tanzania. This one is in Uganda. This is Mount Rwenzori. Both of them mean mountains of the moon. And one of the papyrus in ancient Egypt, the Egyptian says, we come from the foot of the mountains of the moon where the god Happy dwell. So the Egyptians said that they came from south in the area of these two mountains, and they migrated north up the river and built that civilization. So this beautiful snow-capped mountain, this is in Africa. This is in Uganda, and people go skiing here too. And there's an extraordinary lake with all kinds of resorts and boating and stuff that go on. So Africa, they're still telling us Africa's jungles with monkeys and cats and things. Matter of fact, one of them used to show all these tigers in Africa. You know there's no tigers in Africa? You can only find tigers in Asia. But the white man went clear on his logistics, so he had tigers running around Africa back in the day. So we need to know better. This is the Espek Fall in Ethiopia. This forms what is called the Blue Nile. The first one we were looking at was the White Nile, the water that created the White Nile. They come together in Khartoum, Sudan, and form the Greater Nile. That is one of the most beautiful falls in the world. And you can walk almost where you can just sit about 100 yards away and just watch it and listen to the music it makes. I wanted to go to that. I think this one I wanted to show all of those spots represents African kingdoms and civilizations before slavery. We had all of these extraordinary civilizations that the West know about. While they're teaching us that we're barbarians, they know about every one of these civilizations. You know why? Because all of the damn artifacts are in the museums in Europe. Matter of fact, if you took your artifacts out of the museums in Europe, they would probably only need 2 museums for all of Europe. Because nearly everything in the museums, from Sweden to England, from Belgium to France, is yours. But they took your artifacts, they took your history, and told us you didn't have one. But there's some information that's left to tell us a different story. And this is from a book by Shekantadea.
Did you see that Christian falling asleep in there? I wanted to wake him up.
I ain't even see it. No.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to wake him up.
Yeah, well, yeah, I reached to wake his ass up. Damn. I'll get a little bit more of this.
Called Civilization of Barbarism. And this is a photograph he took. This painting is from the tomb of Ramses III, 1200 BCE. It shows the Egyptians perceiving themselves as Black and representing themselves as such without possible confusion with the Indo-European, who's the second guy, the Asiatic type, and the Semite, which is the European type. And this is a representation of the races in minute detail, which guarantees the realism of the colors. Throughout their entire history, the Egyptians never dreamed of representing themselves by types B or D. In short, the Egyptians saw themselves as Black, and they saw the rest of Africa as Black, and they were the same people. And this is on the tomb. They left this there thousands of years so we would have no doggone confusion about who they were. And the Europeans have got this painting too, and have had it for centuries. So why are they playing the Egypt is the white game? But we'll see why they play that game. That's an important game for them. The pyramid text is written by Unas 5th century dynasty, the oldest religious text known to man, 4,000 years before the Torah, the Bible, or the Quran. And guess what? Your Genesis story comes from this African Genesis story that was 4,000 years earlier than your Bible. In our story, and I'll paraphrase it, I have it here, but I don't want to read it. God says, I created myself out of myself. I brought existence. Now, I created myself out of myself. I caused existence to exist so that existing might exist. And then God goes further. And God said, I hiccup, I vibrate, or what we call the word, and I began to create. And the first thing he created, he says, he spat out tefnut, which is air and moisture. And then he coughed up shu, which is the gases. And he says, out of the gases and the air and moisture that I created, and those elements, came Geb, the earth. And out of the earth came Nut, the skies, the planets, the stars. And then Geb and Nut came together, and those elements produced humans, the first human being Asar, and his wife being a Set. And they give birth to the Son of God, Heru. Then our God goes back and says something most extraordinary. First, he said, I created all that, and it's a long story, I'm just cutting it short for you. So I created all that my heart desired, and then I expanded in it. And then he says in his final statement, now this is Amen. Amen means, we got the word Amen.
See him sleeping again, Jamie? See where my pointer is?
Hold on. Where you at?
He right here. See where my pointer is?
Is he asleep?
Yeah, he's asleep. He was just awake, and he was asleep before, and they just showed him again, and he was awake, and then he just fell asleep again. I just want to wake him up real quick.
Smack him upside the head.
His wife looking at it, looking like, oh, it's a shame. I know.
And from this name, it means the hidden one, the unknowable. It says you cannot know God. Okay. And then it says, I came into being out of my mother. No. Now, this is the almighty, big potentate. And he's saying, I came into being out of my mother, Nun. So in the African tradition, the omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent causation is feminine, not masculine. So that book, chiseled in stone, is called the Pyramid Text. And so the gods of chaos. Now, we say gods, but they didn't use God in their language. They used the word Neteru. And Neteru means the essence of the divine, or the essence of God, or the particles of God, or the parts of God. And they refer to God as the Necha. We get the word nature from that word, by the way. Just like from the son of God, Heru, we get the word hero, because he is the hero in the metaphor, the story. He saves the world from the evil ones. So this is the primordial water, a woman representing the ripples. And she's carrying the boat with life. And you see that beetle in the middle? That represents rebirth, resurrection, regeneration. And that ball of light, that's God. That's energy. Now, this is one of the symbols of God. You can see we use from the very beginning black symbols for God. This is ancient Egypt. This is God Ptah. And he has a little afro. And so you can see he's a black man. And this is God Allen. Now, these are the original paints. So we were hell of chemists. To have the paint last all these thousands and tens of thousands of years. We painted God black. We had gold paint. We painted his hat gold. We had white paint. We painted his garments and his feathers white. We even had red paints. So the Egyptian was red. Well, they didn't paint themselves red. They painted themselves black. And you can go and see this anywhere in Egypt today. And that is supposed to be God Almighty, the omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent. And this is an aspect of God, that God is boundless. That's called He. And this is the feminine aspect of that same time, the darkness, where things are created. Like when you plant a seed in the ground, it's in darkness, and all the things that create the light that you then get to utilize happens in darkness, and then it emanates into light to be nurtured. The gods of order. The Necha Tefnut, this is Tefnut, and the Necha, the sky god, that woman straddle body, that's called Nut, the goddess Nut. And the person with the hands on the breast and in the vaginal area, that's air, that's Shu. The person laying on the ground, that's earth, that's Geb. And the two horn-headed person, that's Kanun. That's the creating element. And so this is the way they taught, because if you have a population that's illiterate, because they're farmers, they're fishermen, they're sheep herders, you can't write the cursive writing we use today. You have to create a writing that depicts nature to explain your current reality. And that's where this language comes from. It was written by the elite class for the masses to learn the same body knowledge that they knew. Like today, our elite make sure we don't learn what they know. But in those days, they wanted to make sure the people understood what they understood. And that's why the civilization lasted for over 10,000 years. There's no civilization on earth that no one can reference that lasted 10,000 years before we fell. And this is another aspect of God. This is the aspect that is called the Christ aspect, or the caress aspect. This is called Asar. He's considered in this culture the first risen savior. And the holy city where he arose is called Abydos. And people still go there and make pilgrimage to that city till today. On the 11th of September, the Ethiopians celebrate their New Year. Their New Year is a celebration of the resurrection of Asar and the reconstitution and regeneration of him by the spirit of his wife, Aset. And this is the first Madonna and child, who we refer to as the goddess Aset. The first time in history anyone will see a mother and a child, and the child is Heru, according to the metaphor in our books, is born of immaculate conception. with a relationship with God and not her husband or son. This is Nephthys, the wife of Seth. I won't even go. The Seth is the guy who we would call in our Bible Cain. He's the one that will murder. He's the hunter, and he will murder his brother Asar, who's the farmer. Like Abel was the farmer and Cain was the hunter. There's where the story came from. There's nothing wrong with somebody using your story. There's something wrong with them telling you you never had one. Okay. And of course, this is the brother. Again, this is Seth. This is how he's symbolized. But Seth was not considered to be the devil. Africans don't have a concept of the devil as such. Seth is considered to be chaos, something that occurs in your consciousness, in your community, in your family, in your nation, when you don't have order, when you don't have justice, when you don't have a plan to balance and harmonize. Then you will end up in a Seth situation, which is a chaotic situation, which could lead to destruction and death. Oh, I am so sorry. I forgot to turn this thing off. And nobody should be calling me anyway. Oh, that's my older brother. But he can wait. He knows I turned him off. He said, "You love me." At least he knows I'm there. So this one I thought you'd like. You want to read it for yourself? Everybody read that aloud. What does it say? Yeah. So you thought that 12 disciple thing was new? Nah. The African God had 12 disciples too. So here's his 12 disciples, the first 12 disciples. I'm not going to do details on them, but you can go and study all of this stuff. It's too much. If I was to give you a lecture on all of this, we'd be here 5 hours. So I'm just going to.
There you go, Jamie.
Hey, I see his head, but no, the dude next to him. You see the dude next to him?
That's the lady right here.
No, all right, behind him. The cat behind him, right there.
Yeah.
His head bobbing.
Yeah.
Hey,
Christians,
his
Christians
head
don't
bobbing.
like it.
His head bobbing like a motherfucker. He catching hell trying to stay up.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
And then the lady next to him, I think she gone.
Over here.
Yeah, she gone.
She looked like she got all covered up with her coat and everything, man.
Yeah, she done stretched out.
She done camped out. Yeah.
She slid down and put her head on the back.
Yeah, but they gonna learn something. they gonna learn something. Baba Small gonna learn them something tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let's just get let me see where we're at. 51. All right. Let's get about 10 more minutes.
Show you. And then you need to go and say, I don't know, but the small telling me the truth. Let me see if some of this stuff is really real. Let me look it up for myself. The Neteru, this is Horu. This is the one that the Christian would call Christ. His whole story is the same as the story of Christ. The story of Christ is the story of this guy. That is his symbol over there.
They're not gonna show that picture.
And interesting, that's the symbol the American took to be the shield of the United States of America.
So I'm gonna after we stop watching this, I'm gonna show you the shields that he's talking about, just for presentation purposes.
Did they tell you that they took your symbol of resurrection to be the shield of the United States of America? Since America saw itself as the resurrection of the New Jerusalem or the New Egypt or the New Mecca, they use the African symbol for resurrection and never mentions it to you, except they put arrows in one of the paw and olive leaf in the other paw. This is the symbol of God Canoe. Remember, I show you the horn person. He's creating man.
That's your boy, Jamie.
The potter's wheel. He's not
Canoe. That's right.
Symbol represents an aspect of God's personality according to the African. So this is the creative aspect of God's personality, and is symbolized by a canoe. This is your first angel.
The nature of the now.
The nature for truth, justice, harmony, balance, righteousness, and reciprocity. There's nowhere in the history of the world where there's a winged female being before this one, Ma'at. So they take the concept of the angel from this concept that represents truth, justice, righteousness, harmony, balance, and reciprocity. Her symbol is the scale. Let me go back, because I may not have put the scales here. So in America, they take her symbol, the scales, and they use it in their justice system, and they take her and blindfold her and call her Lady Justice. But they don't tell you they took your symbol to do that. Because deep, you got to understand. See, if you know your history, you see all the fraudulent stuff other people do. This is the book of Gates. We're not going to go into that. This is another one of our holy books that is thousands of years older than the Bible. This is another one referring to the God happy, but referring to life, how it generates out of the now. You can see we were black from the beginning of time. And we got the 10th commandment, of course, and we all know the 10th commandment because we had to learn it in church. And we learned that the 10th commandment was given to us by Moses. And we learned that Moses was found as a baby in the river in Egypt and raised by the family of the pharaohs, the ruling elite of the country, because the pharaoh's daughter or somebody or sister found him there. And so he lives to be 80 something before he becomes a prophet. So that being the case, then he had to have mastered the 42 commandments, out of which he took the 10. If he lives in there with the rich people, he had to learn this. So why did he have to go to a mountaintop to get 10? Because metaphors should never be confused for history. The mountaintop is your mind. The mountaintop is your consciousness. He took this complex 42 and transformed it into a simplistic 10 that makes sense and was usable for an ignorant people that he was leading out of a difficult situation. And he wasn't leading them out from under you, the Egyptian. At the time period in history talking about, that northern portion of Egypt had been taken over by an Asiatic group called the Hittites. I'm sorry, the Hyksos. And they stayed on us for 400 years. At the end of that 400 years, we came back from the south of Sudan and Ethiopia and took the country back. But those who had lived under their jurisdiction for 400 years and had become mulattoized and culturalized under them, who was also fighting a civil war against them, they flee us too because they were no longer like us. It's like many of us in the United States of America, we don't think we African anymore because we light-skinned and we mixed and we got all these other things going on. I know y'all don't have that problem down here, you know? And so that group we know in history as the Hebrew Israelites, but they were still black people. And I'll show you pictures of them as we go along. Oh yeah, we invented circumcision, not them. Matter of fact, if you read the Bible, Abraham, when he comes from Ur of the Chaldee, and he comes into Canaan, it is the king of Canaan that told him he was filthy and unclean. And it was the king of Canaan that circumcised Abraham, not Abraham that circumcised him. That's in your Bible. If you read it, you won't be confused. But even Canaan was under the jurisdiction of Egypt. And so here in ancient Egypt, thousands and thousands of years before any of them, we are circumcising. And look how modern it is. By tying that thing around the penis, he cuts off the flow of blood. So when they do the cutting, the person will not hemorrhage. Isn't that something? Back in the day, there's very little that's new under the sun, you'll find out. This is my favorite. This is called the Papyrus of Ani. Now, papyrus is simply one of our documents. Let me show you some beautiful things in this. This is Mr. Ani. He died. This is his soul, his heart, his deeds on earth is being weighed against the feather of truth, Ma'at, the lady with the wings I showed you. There she is at the top of the scale, which is her symbol. If his heart is heavier than this feather of truth, he will go to be eaten by this crocodile, hippopotamus, lion, whatever this thing is. But here's the jackal, the dog, who's weighing, who's carrying out the judgment, making sure the scale is balanced. Now, the reason they got the jackal handling the judgment, because the jackal was a dog who would take his food when he killed meat, which was hard and raw and hard for his body to digest, he would bury it in the desert, and the desert heat would cook it. And when it got just to a point where it was digestible, that dog would dig it up and eat it. And so they looked at the dog as symbolizing good judgment. So that's why he's used in this handling the judgment. And so if he's judged to have had a good life, then all of that is written down by this person. Now, if we want to use this as the American legal system, this is the man being tried. This is the district attorney trying to prove it. This is the concept of justice in place. This is his lawyer. This is the court bailiff. And so he's proven, I mean, this is the court recorder. He's proven to be innocent. And so the bailiff takes him before the judge, who's God. It's all been based on the laws of Ma'at. And the true judgment is the 12 jurors, the priest, and God. And doesn't that look like the American legal system? But they tell you some shit about the Magna Carta, and they won't tell you about this. But let's do another flip through it. Here is the brother who died. His soul is being weighed. This is Satan. This is St. Peter. These are the commandments. He gets passed. He goes to Heru, the Son of God, born of Immaculate Conception, because he wants to enter heaven before God, but he can't enter heaven except by the Son. And his judgment will be by the 12 disciples. And as Jesus sit on the throne as God, there's Mary and the other Mary as his support. Now, let me tell you something. And for brothers who don't know, and I'm not afraid of it, I'm a Prince Hall Mason, 32nd degree, Cornerstone, 37, Grand Lodge, New York State. Every king in Egypt sat on the square. There's so much people have taken from us and not even mentioned it to us. But if you know your history, you can feel comfortable. You don't have to hate nobody. Everybody says, oh, if you teach, they're going to hate. Who got time to hate anybody? You hate other people, you hurt yourself. But if you know your history, you can make the appropriate decisions for yourself. That's why you need to know history. So we go on. The Temple of Asar. What I'm doing with this series that I'm going to show you really quick is that these are pillared temples. And when we built these magnificent temples, there is no Greece, there is no Rome, there's no Dorian columns, there's no Ionian columns or any of that foolishness we see in masonry, because we are the ones that created the pillar temple. These are our columns. And so people need to learn enough history to know that everybody has robbed us blind, and we need to take our stuff back. We go to one of the first symbols of a leader known in history. And his name is, in line one, this is the hieroglyph, these writings here, these are the hieroglyphs. So in the first line, it says, he's in the Hetu, he's in the temple. The second line, he's saying that he's Set of the god Set. He's studied the god Set. And the next line, Net Anu, talking about the city and the people he's from. Part of the people, if you go to Japan, there's a whole black people in Japan, which most of you don't know about, called the Anu people. They live in the northernmost island called Hokkaido. They're the ones who was the original inhabitants of that island until the white Asiatics came down and took the island from them. But they say their genesis is back here in Egypt, and Egypt in this early line, you see that they're talking about the Ainu and the Terraneta. That's one of the god, he's devoted to this aspect of God, Terra. And so this is the first symbol anybody know of a royal ruler anywhere in history, Mesopotamia, China, wherever. And everybody knows this. This is in the museums in Europe. And there really was a scorpion king. This is 4000 BC.
There's your other boy, James.
Symbol, the scorpion. And he's king of Egypt.
I'm telling you.
Two
Scorpion
of them.
King.
Scorpion King. They did use
right.
to do it.
All right, two of them, right?
Hey, I think so.
All right.
Well, they found the lightest brother they could find. But they did use a brother to play the Scorpion King. But there really was a Scorpion King. But I'm sure the story wasn't the storyline that they ran. But it's people playing with your history. Again, I'm showing the beauty of the temple. This side is what it looks like now. This is what it looked like when you reproduce the painting that was on it centuries ago. And I'm putting up because these pillar temples of ours. This is our first, well, not the first, of course, but one of our earliest forms of writing. And this is from the Sudan. And then this is the hieroglyph that evolves from that writing. Now, hieroglyphs is using elements out of the ecology to represent concepts, ideas, and principles that people could easily understand if they're not literate. Okay. And this is our cursive form of the same hieroglyph. You understand? Now, this is what the elite did. This is what those who went to college did. We invented college. And guess what? We invented the 7 liberal arts. And if you read in your Bible in Proverbs, forgot the chapter, but Proverbs talk about the 7 daughters of wisdom. The 7 daughters of wisdom, people, is the 7 liberal arts. Okay? So you guess what? I got to read your stuff because people play with you. In the temples of Kemet, of Egypt, each segment, and I'll show you one of the temples and I'll explain it. But this is our written language. Now, does it look like you see where Arabic came from? And does it look like you can see where Hebrew came from? This is another form of the same language. This form is used mostly for like bookkeeping, accounting, and so forth. The other is used for correspondence. And this is one of the first kings to unite Egypt, Narmer, that we knew of, because Egypt is separated into what they call the North and the South. And so he was the guy to pull all of it together, along with, I'm sure, other people, but he's given the credit. And how you know that he's an African man, because in this scene, this is one called the Narmer palette. In this scene, he's going back to his village, and on this pole is his placenta. One of the traditions in Africa is the king placenta is kept. And whenever the king goes back to the village of his mother where he's born, he had to take that placenta with him. You understand? Because the placenta is mummified. Let me tell you how you do a mummy. You take bodies and you submerge it in salt. The salt sucks out all of the water. Bacteria can't live without the moisture. And once you suck out all the water, then you use herbs and oils to preserve the body for perpetuity. And so, and they still do it in Africa, by the way. That's how all the kings in Ghana get buried, the kings in Nigeria get buried. They all get mummified today. This is another close-up of his placenta being carried in a procession as he's going back to visit his home village. That lets you know that is an African man, because that is an African cultural thing. We don't know no other culture in the world that does that thing. Well, this is the first dynasty king. You see, and all of the ones you're going to see, I'm going to rush through because I just want you to see that these are Black people. We're going to go from the first dynasty to the 30th dynasty. And you see, he's a young African man. And this is another king. This is the second dynasty. You see, he has his dreadlocks. That was the hairstyle of all the pharaohs.
So I'm going to stop there.
Hey, man, this is tough, right? I ain't never seen this one.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
I ain't never seen this one, man.
So it's a lot. There's a lot to that we know and stuff, but there's some other stuff in there, and then I'll save the other half of it. Yeah, it's another hour, so I'll just save the other half. It's probably about another 50 minutes. So yeah, we can and for the audience and stuff, it's good to have a pen and a pad, and you can always, though you couldn't see the pictures as well. Let me get on here. So you couldn't see the pictures as clear. You can go back and you can write down the names and the locations, the artifacts, and go look them up yourself.
Right.
And just open up with discussion, with yourself and with others, and continue to research, man. And we got to have our history. It's so prominent, and it's a plethora. It's like it's never ending. And so, yeah, that's my presentation, man.
Hey, man, as always, man, good one, King. I like that one. And like I said, I've never seen that one.
All right, I'll send it to you.
Never seen that one, man. That's tough. Professor always be on, man. He be on, man. He knows his history, man. And the professor said it all their feet. Right. He said it all their feet, man. He said it. Dr. Clark and you know what I mean,
Ben, all of them.
yeah, man, he said yeah, I like the professor, man. I always have, man. When I first ran into him, man, I liked him.
Exactly. So you hit me off with that, and and ever since then I've been riding like a mug.
Yeah, shout out to Professor James Smalls, our master teacher.
Yeah,
He's still putting that work in, man.
Still putting that work in, man.
Still putting the work in, man. Shout out to, and like he said, he got a villa in Ghana right now as we speak.
30 room, 35 room spots.
Yeah, and they always looking for donations. So if y'all want to support the brother, man, and it would be nothing for you to go to Ghana, man, and connect with him, or that hotel, man, and be able to stay there at a really decent rate, man. Um, um, so yeah, shout out to Professor James Smalls, man.
Yeah, man, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, Professor was one of the first ones I shot to you.
It
Professor
was
James
the
Smalls,
first
man.
one. It was the
Yeah,
very first one.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he give it, he'll run from, Narmer all the way. He even go to the Scorpion King, you know,
Yeah.
you know, that was before Narmer, and the Scorpion King too, so and he'll bring you all the way down. He'll bring you all the way to 2025, man.
Yeah, that's the second part of it.
Yeah, he'll walk you all the way to 2025, man. AD, so yeah, man. Good shit, man. What you
No
think,
doubt.
Gerald?
Oh yeah, good information. I mean, dealing with professional flaws for a long time. So, you know, that's the when they teach and giving lessons, all of them gonna do the same thing. They gonna work in the whole non-level civilization. You see, not the result on TV. I can't do it.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
right.
Dr. Runoko
yeah, all of
Rashidi.
them.
That's
Yeah,
right.
all of them do that. Yeah, so good information.
I know
So,
I got a tough one on Runoko too, man. I was going to share that one. It was a tough choice.
and what about you, Carrie? What you think, Queen?
I liked it. Another learning experience. Thank you for the presentation. Wow, I have to watch it again and write these things down, and so I can research them some more. And but I enjoyed it, and I enjoy you guys, and I'm probably going to get off here and go help Judy. But love all of you, and thanks for being you guys.
All right, Queen. All right.
Yeah. Have a
And
good one.
E, what you think, King? What you think about that?
Might be in motion.
Yeah, he might be in traffic or something. Yeah, man. Like I said, man, I ain't never seen that one. I'm gonna go watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Check it out. See what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Again, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate your
man.
information as always. You always bring it. You bring the heat every time, and I definitely appreciate that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Uh, and again, man, family. He spoke on it, man. Our history is real important for us to know it. You have to know your history. A lot of the stuff you wouldn't even, if you knew your history, a lot of the stuff they wouldn't be a question to you, and they wouldn't be able to fool you or trick you. So this is why it's so important to know our history, man. You have to know your history. You know your history, man. You pretty much you got it. You ahead of the game. Knowing your history, man. You're ahead of the game, man. And Professor James Smalls just showed us again how important it is for us to study our history, man, and not let these people change it. We can't afford to let these people change it, man.
It's not
Sorbet.
The
Yeah,
other,
go ahead.
the understanding is to know your history is is something you gotta do. It ain't gonna be naturally taught to you. It's something you have to actively go in search of. You with me?
Right.
You, I don't care who you are, you will have to actively go in search of your history. Wherever you at, they're not gonna teach it to you. So if you do know it, somebody done put in the thinking about you as a young child or whatever. Somebody was thinking about you. All right? That lecture we was watching, you with me?
Mm-hmm.
He was teaching what? History.
Right.
Everybody y'all was laughing at. There was no young children. Remember y'all laughing at the people going to sleep?
Yeah, yeah.
Those was adults.
Them old people, they don't know they, you understand?
They
All
don't
the
know-
people don't know the history.
Right.
There was all the people coming to see a professor. There wasn't young, middle school people coming to see Professor Law. Them old people who don't know their history.
That's right. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Right,
exactly
so
right.
that's why I want that's how deliberate they system is. You have to, and they had to probably pay to come see him. You with me?
Right.
Mhm.
And it was
Yeah,
packed.
right. We have to pay to learn about our own goddamn self.
Right.
And this is at an older age. That's the point I just wanted to make.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you know, the knowing our history, man, listen, man, you know, going back to what I was saying earlier about how the government is changing our history, rewriting it right in our damn face. Right in our face, man. They redoing it right now as we speak. Because trust and believe within the next few years, they're gonna come out and say that it was unconstitutional for them to take the Black African history out of the classroom. They're gonna re-implement it, and they're gonna already have a book, a history book written already, and it's gonna have the watered down version of our history, or more, even more
Even more.
watered down than it is now,
The watered down version of slavery.
and everything else.
Right.
Like I said, he let us know what the importance of our history was through his, in his lecture. He specifically said that. You know what I mean? And and it's up to us, man. We ain't got no excuses no more, man. Right in your hand, you got a whole computer, man, that lets you know anything you ask it. All you got to do is ask it, man. There's no more excuses no more, man. We have to get up. We got to do this, man. We have to participate in some kind of history, man. Black African history. You have to, man, or it's going to be lost. I'm telling you, our kids is going to be wondering if slavery even happened, man. My grandkids going to have to wonder if slavery even happened, man.
Yeah. Right.
You feel me? They gonna have to, they gonna be debating this.
Huh.
whether it even happened, let alone the details. Did it even happen?
Right. Yeah,
And that's what they're trying to do, man. This man is trying to ban stuff out of the Smithsonian's. You know what I'm saying? No, man, we can't let them do that. I mean, of course, it's their school system. They can do what they want to do. But man, we gotta teach our own, man. We gotta teach our own. You have to teach your own kids, man, because you can't get mad about what they teach their kids. That's the history that they want to teach their kids. We got the real history though. The real history. It ain't gonna be watered down. It ain't gonna be comfortable. It's not comfortable. It's not a comfortable history.
Right.
You know, a lot of it should be uplifting because we're responsible for the 7 liberal arts. But as soon as we come in contact with the enemy, man, it was over. It was over, man. But yeah, man, good show, man. I like that, King.
Yeah, no, it's gonna invoke a little bit of conversation at least, so
I mean, we gotta wake up, man.
Yeah,
we gotta
man,
wake up, man. We gotta wake up, man. Y'all better wake up, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. It's a reason why they're doing this, man. It's a real good reason why they're doing this, man. And we can't just lay down and just say, hey, oh well. No, we can't do that, man. We come on here every Friday and every Sunday. We don't ask for no cash apps. We don't ask for no PayPal. We don't ask for none of that stuff, man. We don't ask you for nothing, man. All we ask you for is a little attention. That's it. A little bit of attention, man. Like, subscribe, and share it. Let other people know about it, man. That's it, man. We take a time out of our day, 2 times out of the week. Brothers have to prepare for this, set up stuff. Listen, man. All we need you to do is just participate. We even giving away stuff. We giving away books. We even giving away books, man. Good books. These ain't no cheap books. These real good books. These good books, man. Each one of these books like $19.99.
Right.
$20, man, for each one of these books, man. We giving them away. Yeah, we giving them away, man. Free. Don't cost you nothing. Free books, man. Good quality books, man. Good pictures, man. Good, nice pictures, man. Look at that, man. Shaka Zulu. Look at that, man. Shaka Zulu, man. Look at that. Hey, you got Imhotep right here, man. Good books, man. Queen Ya. You see that? All I'm saying, man, Imhotep of ancient Kemet. I'm just saying we got good books, man. These
no
good
postage,
quality.
no nothing. You ain't got to pay postage. We got you.
All you got to do is participate. That's it, family. Just participate, man. That's all we want. We want you to participate, bring the babies, so they ain't so they're not left out looking stupid when a history conversation come up or historical conversation come up. You know what I mean? And then when they come and ask you, you don't have a clue what they're talking about. You don't have an answer for them. You don't have an answer for them, man. And that that can't look good, man, when you ain't got an answer for your kids is wondering something, man, about what they talking about in history or historical conversation, and they don't have a clue. So now they can be told anything now at that point. and they got to go with it. So listen, man, good show, King.
Glad to be of service, man. Glad to be a part of this, man. Walking around aimlessly, man, and not even knowing it. So yeah.
Hey man, let's get some of this history, family. Let's get it, man. You know, spread it. Spread it. We'll let these people shut us down, man.
Can't do it.
You
want to say something? Oh, go ahead, Jamie. I'm sorry.
Just because a couple of people don't feel, you know, they feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying, about, you know, their ancestors and what they, some of the dirty and vile shit that they've done. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, be proud of it like you was back in the 60s when you was taking postcards, sending postcards and stamps. Be proud of it.
Yeah.
Don't stop now. You know what I mean? Y'all had postcards about this stuff. Remember that? You know, hangings and all kind, you know, and burnings and yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, that was good days for y'all. So don't stop now. You know what I mean?
But Buckwild, he haul days for him. Yeehaw!
Right. What you think, E? You back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, we're gonna close out, man. What you think, man? You got anything you want to say?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh yeah. I want a copy of that for sure. I don't know if I've seen that one as well, but Small is on point. I can't hear anything, man.
I can hear you though. I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Very vaguely. Very slight.
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you though.
Oh, okay, yeah. But other than that, man, yeah, that was good. That was good. I missed some stuff, but yeah, I want to watch it again in its entirety.
Start. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you guys.
For real, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, y'all kings have a good afternoon, man, and a good work week.
Yeah, y'all too, man. I'm gonna go help my wife cook. We're gonna throw some on the grill.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're gonna throw some on the grill real quick, man. So I'm help with that.
That's what's up. Right. That's what we do. Hunting down Sunday food, man. Hunting down.
Exactly, man. I got me some greens in there and throw some chicken wings on the grill and something else to go with it, some kind of vegetables. I'm starting my fall garden, so I'm gonna be out there the next few days putting that together. And
gotcha.
Yeah, I like the way it grows better in this season than in the summertime.
Yes, sir. That's what's up, man.
All right, man. Hey, make sure you watch that fight, man. Make sure you watch it. It's worth watching.
I can go back and watch it.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if on Netflix or not, but it should be on YouTube or somewhere.
Got you. Yeah. All right, for sure, brother.
Yeah, hey family, thanks for joining us. Like, subscribe, share, give us a comment, let us know what y'all think. Join us every Sunday, 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Friday, 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Open mic. Come and talk with us, man. Give us a shout out. And like I said, like, subscribe, and share, man. Give us a comment. Share this video, man, and subscribe to the channel, so we can put more information out, family. All right. That's all. We just want to put more information out.
Yeah, and if you like it, come on Friday and talk about it. If you don't like it, hey, come on Friday and talk about it.
Right. Yeah. Whether you like it or not, man.
Bring the topic. That's what the open mic is about. Bring your topic, and we ain't got to orchestrate everything, man. Bring it in and let's talk about it. So people love to text, man. Love to hide behind the little text and stuff, man. We can dialogue face to face, man, and just get in deep. So come on Fridays, Sundays. First Sundays is a children's book read or video watch. Bring your babies, man. And thank you, Jamie, again. Thank you for always showing up, bro.
For sure, man. Hey, y'all be easy, man. And we are out.